Yes, 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 yes. It's that time. What time? It's that time. You have tuned into the hottest show online. I didn't even try for that to rhyme. That rhymed. Seattle Connected Podcast, the show that connects you with entrepreneurs, business people, movers and shakers in our community, letting you know who they are before they become household names, which we know they soon will be. Today, my guest is a special guest. She wants to make sure that you're strong. Not strong, but strong in the mind. She wants to give you the tools that you need to make sure something important is taken care of. And that important thing we're talking about is your credit. Credit worthiness is very important. So she's going to let you know the ins and outs, the stuff that they don't want you to know, to make sure you're on top of your game. So please welcome the talented, the sophisticated, the path paver, that is Tierra Bonds. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you.
How was the intro? I ask all the guests. How was the intro?
It was a lot. Path paver. That was the last one that resonated with me.
Oh, man. You said it was a lot. So is that a bad thing?
In a good way.
Okay.
In a good way.
You gotta
just
let me know.
High standards.
Of course. I'm in the presence of greatness. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you making time for me. So we'll jump right into it. But before we do, are you originally from Washington?
I am born and raised in Washington, Olympia.
Okay.
So the question I always get is, Black people are from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Olympia, Washington, born and raised, and then lived in Tacoma and Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So Olympia, born and raised. Okay, that's what's up. So you're used to like long commutes, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Both. I mean, all jobs in my past. Most of them required a commute.
Yeah. But I mean, it gives you time to think and kind of be at one with your thoughts. You know,
Alone.
Sometimes that's good. Alone in the car, though, you know, when you just kind of want to chill and just decompress.
Yeah. And then after a long day, too, to unwind and just, yeah.
Yeah, that's important. So what is this take charge credit? What? School the fans, school the people out there. So what is that all about?
Absolutely. So Take Charge Consulting, I started about 6 years ago, initially just to help people navigate through the credit systems. I experienced bad personal credit on my own and was seeking help. All the companies that I found, that I reached out to, didn't seem very ethical. And the best word I can describe is they just felt scammy. So, and I didn't know if they were doing good or not. So I figured, just learn how the credit system works on my own, how to clean it up, how to improve it, and then be that resource for my community.
Okay. I like that. Be that resource for the community.
Yeah, myself first.
Yes. Yeah, that's important, right? Preaching to the choir, you don't want to be the person to talk about the importance of it, then your credit is not so great, right?
Absolutely.
So Tierra, besides the obvious, what would you say is so important about taking care of your credit?
Besides the obvious of getting a home and such. Well, maybe
well,
that might not.
We'll break it down, because sometimes common sense isn't common.
That's true.
So go ahead and let people know, why is it important to take care of your credit?
That is true. And for me, the why and why I do what I do is because of the racial wealth gap. So when we think about that huge separation between Black families and white families when it comes to wealth, we have to look at the racial credit gap. And so because credit allows us to build wealth through home ownership or business ownership. And so for me, that's the number one reason of why we need credit, so that we can start building wealth, and not only build wealth, buy a home, but do it at a rate that's not going to set us back even further. I have an example in an article that I wrote that shows the differences between buying a home with a credit score of 677 and then a credit score of 734. Bottom line is the lower credit score pays over $76,000 more just in interest based on their credit score. So that to me that's why we need to focus on credit.
That's insane. That's a huge difference. That
scary.
is huge. Yes, it is.
Scary.
But I mean, that's a good thing to know these things before making a major purchase like a home.
Right.
That's very important. Um, and it's also important to know that there's those pitfalls out there where, like, all right, you might get this home, but look what you're signing up for because of the interest rate. And like you said, what you'll overall be paying for. And you're like, do I really want to do this? Or maybe I can wait until my score is higher and then save that, not have to pay an extra seven. I don't know if you just have an extra 76,000 to give away, but I don't.
I wish I did.
If you did, I will gladly take it. If you just have money, please, I will gladly take it. Anyone out there. And like I always tell people, I love gifts. So if anyone wants to give me any kind of monetary gifts, I appreciate it. My birthday is July 14th, but I accept gifts all year round. So anyway, I'm sorry. So Tierra, what are some of the reasons, or not some of the reasons, but some of the silly things you might hear from people about why, my credit doesn't matter, or what are some of the things you hear, whether it's from younger people or senior people?
Yeah, there's a lot. I think if I could narrow it down to one, maybe the most common is what people see on TikTok and YouTube and those influencers out there who, when it comes to business credit, will say, you can get a business loan with a 300 credit score, 400 credit score, just crazy stuff. And it puts people in a position to not focus on their personal credit, which is detrimental to them because, one, if you are getting a business loan, 9 times out of 10, your personal credit still does factor and play a role. Right. So you still need it to get approved. But it just puts people in messed up situations for other areas of their life, minus a business loan, but even just personal life. So you do need personal credit, even if you are getting a business loan.
Yeah, that's important. I guess credit is kind of like, just trust in a way. Like you have friends that they can kind of ruin their credit with you by not coming through when you need them to, or being wishy-washy. And it's the same with credit. If you're showing your credit worthiness, okay, the banks can trust you with a higher loan with a lower rate, versus the opposite. If you just want to get a loan just to get a loan, but then it's sky high, and then you're like, what did I sign up for? But they're like, we need our money. It doesn't matter.
Right. And it's in their terms. So, we have tons of bills that we pay that monthly on time, like rent and utilities and such, that don't get reported to our credit report. Right. So the bank really only sees, a small portion of that credit. So that's something to factor in as well. You just got to learn what's on your credit report, what gets reported, and then play the game with the system.
Yeah, that's cool. Tierra, how did you get into this field? Yeah. I know you might hear that from time to time. It's a great field to be in, but
yeah.
I take it this wasn't something that you grew up saying, this is what I want to do.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I think it was, majority because of personal experience with bad credit and just those feelings of shame and embarrassment and guilt. And I needed to do something to fix it for myself. Also, at that time, I was working for Department of Corrections. And I loved what I did there, but I was paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. It was hard to make ends meet as a person in their early 20s. So I couldn't imagine staying there after, being in that position to raise a family and still be paycheck to paycheck. So I knew that business ownership was the route, but I didn't know what to start it in.
Yeah.
My background was government, just Department of Corrections. So, but having that experience with bad credit, seeing the options out there for help that were not really viable options and solutions, and kind of just paired those together and started Take Charge. That sounds like it was easy, but it absolutely wasn't. I sat on the idea for years and years and years.
Yeah. I'm glad you made the move, because a lot of people can benefit from the knowledge that you have, and you stepping out and on a leap of faith and just saying, I want to do something different and I want to do something that's going to be impactful for my community. So I thank you on behalf of the community.
Thank you.
Tierra, what would you tell people at home, especially younger people? What would you tell them things to avoid and things to do if they were looking to purchase a home in the next 5 years or something? Like things that you say you might want to hold off on that. You might want to work on this. You might want to cross these T's and dot these I's. What would you, just some advice that you might give them?
Yeah, the first thing I would say, and we probably have all heard, I'm sure we've all heard this, don't co-sign. If it's not a life or death situation, don't co-sign for people, because that can, I have a couple clients that I'm working with right now who are trying to get out of it, and the options are really limited. And so one person co-signed on a car for a family member, but now herself needs a car. And, with that debt already reporting to her credit report, it's challenging. Yeah. And, the other person can't refinance and do it on their own because their credit is not in the best position. So don't co-sign. That would be the first thing. The second thing would be to use credit cards. And not necessarily, we don't have to use them for everything, although you should, because they're more secure, and you get rewards if you've got good credit cards. But at least have credit cards reporting to your credit report, because that's a huge part of your score. And I know from personal experience and when I talk to clients on a daily basis, credit cards are scary. So just, educating yourself on how to use them responsibly and making sure you have some report to your credit profile. And then the last thing I would say is, if you do have collections on your credit report, fortunately and unfortunately, paying them won't help your credit score. So if a collection is already on there, let's say the balance is $8,000, it has the same impact towards your score as if that collection was $0, for example. So regardless of the balance, just it being a collection on your credit report is what lowers your score. So the best thing to do would, one option is to wait until it falls off of your record, if it does that in the timely manner that it's supposed to. But the best option is to dispute it with the credit bureaus.
Now, how long would that stay on my credit report?
6 to 7 years for collections. Yep. And it's based on the date that it first went delinquent. And it's actually 4 to 7, depending on what state you're in, but based on the first day that it went delinquent.
Same for bankruptcies, same thing?
Bankruptcies are either 7 or 10 years.
Sheesh.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So you definitely, before making any decisions like that, I would recommend talking with a bankruptcy lawyer, because typically it's not the best option, but also talking with a credit consultant who can tell you what the impact will be on your credit afterwards. And
someone such as yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So with the credit cards, would you say avoid taking out a lot of credit cards, or is there a certain number you want to keep it under, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. The amount of credit cards doesn't impact your score. The more available credit you have, the better for your credit profile. But I think to determine that number, it's based on each person individually. Right. How much can you manage? Some credit cards have annual fees that we can forget sometimes. So just, figuring out what your tolerance is to handle them. Yeah.
Tierra, this might sound corny, and I already know it going into...
Let's hear it.
But a cool kind of corny. What sense of pride do you have when you've seen someone that you've worked with and their score was, 300s or 400s, and they get it up to the high 600s or the 700s? Is there like a sense of pride? Like, do you feel good? Like, man, I've seen where they've come from. Like, they've graduated to,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll be clapping by myself. I work virtually, so I don't meet clients face to face usually. So I'll celebrate for them on my own. Okay. But I do have to take the emotion out of it. And this was something I learned year one in business, that same example, someone who was very, very low, 400 credit score, for example, and got them up to over a 730. And less than a month later, gets new credit cards, maxes them out, and their score goes back down. So, after all that hard work of getting the collections and negative accounts removed, the person kind of went back to square one. And when you max out credit cards, you can easily pay them. You can pay them off and your score quickly goes back to normal. But this was a situation where a parent was paying for their son's credit repair, and the son didn't have a why. They didn't have a goal for fixing their credit. So it was just wasted. So since then I try to take the emotion out of it, but there is still a huge sense of pride when I'm able to help someone.
Yeah. Tierra, you're awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, you're awesome as well, David.
Well, thank you. One more time.
David, you're awesome.
I like that. Thank you. I'm not above compliments. No, but seriously, I really like that you're not judging people and having the experience that you did in your own situation. I like that you're taking people in and saying, look, this is where you're at. This is what you can do. These are your options. And I think that's good that there's someone like you to help people, because a lot of times if we don't know, we'll go to a family member or a friend, but depending on the situation, you might feel a sense of shame, and then you won't say anything, and then things just, worsen every day. So thank you for what you do. Appreciate it. So I know there's a ton of people who's going to say, hey, how can I reach Tierra Bonds? And I want to get my thing together, see if I can consult with her. How can they reach you? And just let them know if they want more information.
Yes. So LinkedIn is a great platform. It's just Tierra Bonds at LinkedIn. And then also my website is takechargecc.com.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow.
Short and sweet.
Okay. Well, last thing, anything you got coming up, or you want to give some shout outs to some people's?
I do want to give a shout out to being able to meet you in person.
Yeah, that was awesome.
This last weekend through Keep It Local Tacoma, where we were able to provide free credit and business consulting to local business owners in Tacoma. And that's through King's Dream Consulting, who put that on. So shout out to them. But then also to Bobby, Black-Owned Business Excellence. If you are a entrepreneur in the area, I'm a board member with them, and we provide resources and education to help entrepreneurs start and operate their businesses in excellence. And we have our symposium February 1st. It's our annual symposium. So you can connect with me, and I can give you more details on that as well.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That jacket is awesome.
Thank you so much.
That's your model look?
This is, it's new. It's thanks to Ross.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Ross, designer extraordinaire, Ross. Are you going to the Ebony Fashion Week?
I am not.
That's November 12th.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to be hosting that.
Oh, nice.
So if you show up, you'll see me on the red carpet, black carpet, looking very dapper. I'm going to try.
Dapper, of course. Yes. You got this.
So thank you. So if you're there, say hi.
I will be there.
Yeah, we'll film it. If it's about community, Seattle Connected is there.
I love it.
So thanks again, Tierra. Thanks for all the information and taking time out for us. And I know there's going to be a lot of people reaching out to you. And if any of you have missed any of this information, you can always watch this wonderful episode again on YouTube, or you can just contact me directly and I'll have her information for you as well. And thanks for tuning in. And like I always say, it's important to take care of others, but please make sure you take time to take care of yourself. Till next time, stay connected. Peace.